Hello ENC students, this is Professor Bloomberg again. I'm just going to walk you through in this video some of the basics of the MyWritingLab along with some things to be aware of as you're working through. There is actually a framework for working through the MyWritingLabs that I want to explain to you. And if you have any questions about these things, just feel free to send me an email and I'd be happy to clarify anything for you. Right now I'm on the main page of the MyWritingLab, the home course home page. This is what it looks like when you log into MyWritingLab. I want to show you first of all how you can view your completed work. And what that means is you can see at any point in time what your score is in the MyWritingLab. First you just go to view completed work from the course home and I just click there. And sometimes you get a little window that says for a pop-up blocker, so I'm just going to hit continue. And then from there, there's a link near the top that says, it's just above the past 2 weeks link. It's show overall score, so I'm going to click that. And from there, at the top you can see an overall score. And it's basically taking the average of what it refers to as homework, but it's essentially the recall and applies along with your post-test score. It takes the two of those and gives you an overall average. So I just wanted to show you that so that at any point in time you can get an idea of how you're doing on the MyWritingLab. I'm going to be posting your scores in the Blackboard Grade Center one module at a time, starting with the first module. So I'm going to go back to the course home and talk about that for just a minute. From the course home, just always remember you're going to click to access your learning path, so I will click that. And from clicking that, it'll pull up your modules, and you can see that there are 7 modules that you will be completing this semester. Although if you're in ENC 91, please note that I have an online 90 and an online 91. If you're in the 91 class, which starts second by term, you will have one extra module called research, but 90 students do not have that module. So I'm going to look at basic grammar, which is the first module, and all you got to do is click it. And now that I've clicked it, you will note, just to explain how the modules are set up, this little pencil here lets you know that there are 11 topics in the module that needs to be worked upon. And the star indicates mastery. And so the first topic that's listed is parts of speech, phrases, and clauses. Over to the right of that topic list is a set of activities for each topic. And the activities are always the same. So that if I click down to pronouns, it's going to give the same list of activities. They're just different content-wise. So I'm going to go back to parts of speech, and I just want to show you what it looks like. First thing I'll pull up is the overview, and it's linked, so just click it. And that's what it looks like. It just gives you a basic introduction to the lesson. You can have it, you can play it as audio. So if you're, as you're working at home, you can listen to the lesson if you prefer. When you're done and you're familiar with the lesson, and I do recommend you pay close attention to the lesson because that's how you're going to know what's going on content-wise. Just hit submit at the top. Go back to your learning path, and that part is done. Same thing with animation. Just, hit the wrong thing. So click animation, click the link. And you'll see it brings up, I'll move the thing over just a little bit so you can get a view. I know you're not able to see all of it very well, but you'll see this at home when you click on it, and it just gives you the lesson as animation. And again, you can listen to that with your speakers or headphones. So click submit. I'll reposition here the camera. I'm going to go back to my learning path. And so that's how that works. Now listen very carefully to what I'm going to share with you next because it's important to working the MyWritingLab. You have two sets of recall exercises, and there are 2 attempts with each set. You only have 1 set of applies with 2 attempts. And your post-test, you have only 2 attempts. The post-test is the only way that you can turn your pencils over here into stars, which is what you want to do. However, you've got to work at least one set of recalls, so it would be recall 1. You need to do both of those as well as one of your apply attempts before you do a post-test. So remember that. Again, it's the recall 1 for each topic. Do both of those and do one of your apply attempts, and then once you do that, you may do a post-test. Now, the mastery level required for getting the topic mastered is an 80%. That means out of 10 questions, you must answer 8 correctly, so please keep that in mind. If the first time you take a post-test you don't get your 80%, it's not the end of the world. You just need to go back and do the second recall and do both attempts, and then do your final apply. Then you can do your last post-test at that point. So what happens if you take both post-test and you don't get mastery? Well, that does happen sometimes, and it's not the end of the world. It just factors into your overall score. Once you've exhausted everything here, you're ready to go on to the next topic. But obviously, to help your grade out, you want to try to master as many things as you possibly can, if that makes sense. Let me very briefly show you the recall. I'm just pulling up the first recall set. You just click on question 1, and from there it will bring up the first question. It's going to take just a moment to load. Kind of be patient with the Writing Lab because sometimes it takes a minute to load up. Okay, so it says which of the answers provided is a clause for a sentence. So you would look through its multiple choice and you would choose, let's see if I can adjust that camera just a little bit. It's a little hard to see, I know. Sorry for being shaky. It's about as good as I'm going to get right here. But anyways, you can look at this when you're working. You just pick A, B, C, or D, and then when you click it, you have the option to check your answer. That will let you know if you have the question answer correctly. And again, this is all practice to get you ready for the post-test. So you want to do both attempts at that. Check your answer if you're in the middle of working and you need to leave the computer. You may click save for later, and that will save your work, so please note that. Anyways, don't do what I'm about to do. I'm just going to hit back just to show you a couple quick things, but if you do that, it will read you as incomplete on the assignment. So don't do that. Make sure that when you pulled up, you either check your answer or save for later. Go back to the learning path. Those are pretty standard and straightforward. I just want to show you the applies now because they're a little bit different. You just click on question 1. It's pulling up. And what you will see here is a passage. So the first thing here says to identify the verbs by clicking on linking main and helping verbs. So I'm going to adjust the camera just a little bit so we can get all that in. If you're following along with me, and it's hard for the camera to pick all this up, but if you click on a verb, and I'll just help you out with one, consist is a verb, so I'll click it. My score down on the bottom is going to show that I have 10, but I've still got 9 verbs left in the passage, so I need to go through and find verbs. But check out what happens if I click Appalachian, which is not a verb. It's going to read it as incorrect, and it's going to negatively impact my score down at the bottom, which you can't see due to the camera's limitations. But just be aware of that. When you've answered everything you can to the best of your ability, you can hit score the question, and that will submit your entire response to the whole passage. If again you're working and you need to step away, click save for later, and that will allow you to save your work. Okay? These applies, I will warn you, are pretty tricky. They're really difficult, so take your time as you go through them. Okay? So again, I'm going to click back. You don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it for the sake of time. I'm going to go back to the learning path. And now I'm going to show you a post-test. And again, remember that the post-test is the only way you can get mastery over a topic. If I can reposition the camera, maybe right there, you might be able to see. It says that there are 10 questions, 80% is the mastery. Click you're ready to start when you're ready. I'll click that, and the post-tests are multiple choice. And so you will answer A, B, or C. Very important on the bottom that you click next question when you've answered it and you're ready to move on. Do not click submit test until you're ready to submit the whole test. So if, for example, with question 1 I picked one of the answers and I clicked submit test, it would only submit the answer for number 1 because it will have read that I didn't do the other questions for the test. So again, it's your answer in the next question. Follow that all the way till the end of question 10, then you can click submit test. Okay? And that's pretty much it. That walks you through it. And I'm going to go back one more time. And again, I want to let you know there are 11 topics with the first module, Basic Grammar. Each module has a different amount of topics. This one has 11. It starts with parts of speech and goes down to prepositions. You need to, for the first part of the lab, My Writing Lab, work through basic grammar, and I will let you know when the entire module is due. If you have any questions, please email me. Good luck, and more videos to come. Bye.